Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, guys. This is going to be my Elliot Wave Count for Euro USD, Pound Dollar, Pound Yen, Gold, and I'm also going to be doing silver as well. But first of all, any views, opinions, or suggestions that are expressed in this video do not constitute to trading or financial advice. So let's get started here on Euro USD. So Euro USD has been going towards the downside. However, throughout the previous week, we've started to see eventually some sort of pullback coming in, and that's just a pullback that was expected to happen. We have been breaking market structure along towards the downside here and here and here, and eventually the sort of pullback is eventually coming in, which is what we expected. In terms of the long-term view, I've always been saying this is going to continue heading towards the downside here. However, in terms of short term, we are going to see the market eventually push up, and which is what we're sort of getting that right now. However, this isn't necessarily pushing up in a impulsive manner. It is pushing up in a corrective manner. That's what I want to make very very important. Now, in terms of the smaller time frame, obviously people do prefer to have the smaller time frame counts for our hourly time frame. We have essentially completed this move here, which is you can say an ABC, or eventually equates to a WXY right here, and that gives us a wave A. Then we have this move here as a ABC, which gives us our wave B, and we could now eventually start to see the market push towards more towards the upside after we started to see the market sort of push. After this correction has basically finished. So, what am I expecting? So, I am expecting this sort of channel to sort of hold. We are bearish in terms of the long term, but in terms of short term, we do have like nice pin bars here coming, and we could eventually start to see the market just push up a little bit more, maybe taking towards these highs of trying to find some sort of significant support around the 1.07 level, even towards the 1.08 level. Around there, we could start to see the market push, more towards the downside. But in terms of short term, and probably for this week, we will probably see the market push towards the upside if this sort of X wave hasn't been completed yet. Now, another thing that we could say is that we could actually be already finished, and so this essentially could mean that the wave was actually finished here. We've got that sort of touch here, and what we're now starting to see is essentially this wave. So this will be the WXY right here, as it is, and what we've now seen is that huge impulsive move towards the downside now come in, and we're now seeing the sort of correction to come up to then give us that sell to continue moving towards the downside. So overall, we don't want to be looking to buy this market. Ideally, the sells are the more sort of go-to, you can say, go-to trades that you want to be taking, especially following the overall market towards the downside. However, just be a bit careful. We are getting some upside coming in here, and this will eventually be a corrective move to the upside. Either in a wave where it's correctively like this, and then we get very very short correction, and then we start selling, or we can get a move towards the upside, correctly towards upside, taking these highs and then finishing, and then eventually selling. Overall, downside, look for the sells, don't trust the buys. So that's Euro USD. Let's go to pound dollar. So pound dollar has been moving towards the upside as well, just following Euro USD. Um, we have a nice ABC here. We have this as well as a 535, or you call it a zigzag, which will be a B wave, and we could eventually start to see the market push up towards the upside here, and then eventually sell off again. So it's just following the same suit as Euro USD, and yeah, overall bearish. I don't think I need to really go into too much on this. It is following the sort of movement as Euro USD. I have a look for that move towards the upside where this could either, it could have been finished right here, and this could have been it as A B C, and then that's it, we're finished, and we just started in that impulse move, three wave correction, look to sell it. Or this could have been a continuation where we have a WXY, and this given us an ABC, and we could eventually start to see, so WXY here, ABC, and then we get one more move towards the upside to eventually sell off. Bearish, bearish, bearish vibes. Don't trust the buys. stick with the sells. Let's go on to pound yen. So pound yen has been moving in a sort of sideways correction move. We have been seeing this market eventually push towards the outside. We're now getting this sort of movement here where it's kind of moving sideways in this move. We've seen eventually the lows of here being taken out. So or hasn't been taken out yet, but it's gonna take out soon. So we could see just a little bit more downside, and then we should probably see some push up. However, this is moving in three waves, one, two, three, and then we're going to start to see, this moved as a, an A, B, C, D, E, so you can see a W, X, Y, X, Z. That gives us a wave A, B, C into wave B. We could then start to see the market push down again into a wave C or whatever you want to call it. I mean, this could be a W, X, Y, and then we'll start to see the market push up one more time, and then eventually a huge sell-off. Yeah, so just be careful with pound yen. We could start to see some bullish movement coming in, taking out these highs, and then eventually selling off. So yeah, I would say wait for this to scenario to finish, and then just stick with the sells towards the downside, since it's following the overall trend. So let's go on to gold. So gold has been pushing towards the upside. We have broken the nice trend line. It's quite impulsively to the upside, and obviously the reason why this broke out is due to the war that's been happening in Israel and between Israel and Hamas. And it's a war that's going to probably be going on for quite a while. I heard recently that I think Israel has stopped their ground units from going in. I think they've given a warning to Palestine to evacuate now before it gets a bit more serious. And that could possibly mean a bit of a pullback eventually coming in before they continue moving towards, before gold continue moving to outside before the war continues again, which is affecting a lot of people around the world. I am Muslim myself. I'm not going to say if I support Israel, if I support Palestine. In my whole honesty, I don't support any group at all. I just want peace in general, and that's just the message that I carry out. And nevertheless, what I would say in terms of the actual count, we have here you could say a wave one, wave two, then a one, two, three, four, five into a wave three, a wave four, which could possibly still be impending. So this could still be a wave four as an expanded flat. We get one more pushed upside, wave five, and then we get that pullback coming in to then continue going to what's upside. That's one scenario. Okay, the second scenario is um, we have a wave one, wave two, then a one, two, three, four, five into a wave three. This is the wave four, this is the wave five, and we're gonna start getting that pullback after here, and then eventually push towards the upside. Now that pullback, well, it depends on how the scenario goes. If that wave four is completed right here, then we could start to see that pullback coming in. So then that will basically mean 50 to 61.8% retracement around the 1900, the 1886 towards the 110. That level, that golden area around here, we can start to see. So between, I would say, I'll probably look for the 1900 level. Roughly, it's in between the 50 and the 61. The 1900 level was probably the next sort of pullback that we could see the market head towards before we start seeing. Now, if this war was to continue moving forward, then I wouldn't say that this pullback will be deep. It will just be such a small pullback and then just shoot off, right? I'm not saying to hit 1900, but what I will say is depending on how the war escalates, we could either see a small pullback and then just shoot off, or we could see a deeper pullback and then it will shoot off. So either at the end of the day, we are expecting a pullback. How strong that pullback is, it all depending on what's happening with Russia, Ukraine. It's all depending on Israel and Palestine, interest rates, a whole other bunch of factors. But in terms of what has moved this extremely towards the upside, extremely bullish, was the start of the Israel and Hamas war. So it is extremely bullish. Don't look to sell this. Buys are the way forward. Now, I did mention in my previous scenarios that we could essentially see this market eventually push more towards the downside before we get that push to upside. That scenario can still be in play. It hasn't necessarily broke any of my sort of you can say rules or anything like that. It did break. I would say if it does reject, for example, from hair to hair, it is at the 78.6. If it does reject the 78.6 and just shoots down, then that basically means my first scenario of the wave 4, we are still in that wave 4. This is still moving sideways, and we'll eventually take down these lows to then continue pushing towards the upside. So all in all, just be very, very careful. I will probably stick with the bullish side of things instead of following this old scenario. The reason why I say that is with the severity of this war taking place, as well as on a technical standpoint, market structure here has been broken, and when market structure breaks, we expect a pullback. So just be very, very careful with this pair. Don't look for the sells. I will probably look for the buys. That's just my go-to anyway. Silver. So silver, the reason why I decided to do silver is just because I've had a few requests from a few people that want me to do analysis on silver, and silver has just been moving, a bit weird. You can say it's just, why doesn't silver move? Silver's not as volatile as gold, but that doesn't necessarily mean that silver is not a good safe haven asset for investors to put their money into when times of catastrophe, warfare, chaos arise in the world. When the more chaos there is in the world, the more opportunities there is in the world. So, in terms of silver, we've had a huge, move, a huge rally, strong rally again, and this could be a sort of the next bull run of gold. I'm sorry, silver pushing towards the upside. Now, in terms of how it's moving, you could say, this is one huge correction. So you could say that this could be, this could be a wave one, wave two. This is the wave three, wave four, then a wave five, and then we've getting this sort of A B C, A B, and then a five wave down move. So A B C, and then we've rejected. I think it looks like to me it's either the 50 or the 61. So let's just check. There we go. It rejects the 61. Here we go. So we rejected the 61 nicely, and we've started to see an incline eventually coming in. And this could be a wave one here, a wave two, a wave one, wave two, and then eventually going in for a wave three, wave four, wave five. So silver has a huge potential. Don't necessarily give up hope on silver. I personally, I'll be honest with you. Have I ever traded silver? Absolutely not. I do prefer trading gold. But silver is definitely a good safe haven asset for a lot of people that necessarily can't afford gold at this current moment. It is $2,000 an ounce. So I would say if you can't necessarily invest in gold, you can definitely invest in silver. It is very, very unique to have. And you can get a large quantity of it. Everyone can afford $23, right, which is about £20, right, in British money. I don't know, however, it is in euros, 21 euros or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it is a good asset to have, especially in times of catastrophe and warfare. So in terms of where it's moving, either two things. So this could continue moving towards the upside. This would be considered as an impulse correction, start of an impulse correction, wave three continuation. So wave one, wave two, and we're going for that wave three essentially. Or this could be essentially a push towards the upside, one, two, maybe a three here, push down, go back up, push down again, become a bit more cheaper, and then we can start to see it skyrocket. So silver is, I would say silver does like to follow the same path as gold, but silver doesn't just move. Silver doesn't have as much volatility as gold has. So gold has way more volatility, and just be a bit careful. In terms of, like, you can say support and resistance. There's a nice one right here. It has tested multiple times, the $18 mark or the $19 mark, whichever one that you choose. Yeah, I would, you can look for however many ways you want to look for it, but I would say, we could have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be, probably an expanded flat. If I just check the rules first, if that can be considered as an expanded flat. So let's get my price range here. Wave 5 has to be the longest. So there we go. Is wave 5 the longest? Yes, I guess it could be. Not as long as that. So I wouldn't consider that to be an expanded flat because it has to be longer than wave 3. If you consider this as a 1, 2, 3, a wave 1, wave 2, and then we have wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Um, So yeah, so wave three is the longest. This could be just a normal uh, corrective move as a 1, 2, 3, and then we're getting this as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, push down again. We could be in a huge, sidewave correction here, following this impulse. So the same way how if I show you the gold chart, how this is kind of moving sideways here, right? We're getting the same sort of thing happening here, if you can see that, right? So just be very, very careful. This is sideways movement to me with silver. We could see some bullish coming in, but it could be so corrective, then eventually towards the upside again, But nevertheless, I hope you guys do like my analysis. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you guys want to see sort of the annotations that I put on the charts in terms of specifics, then you guys can join the Discord server. It's only £20, fairly cheap, £20 a month, and it also has a bit more content that I put on to sort of help people with the Elliot Wave learning curve. So yeah, the Discord server that I have has a lot of educational things. I also post a lot of content, financial literacy content as well. I've also got worksheets for people that are interested. This is all self-learning, of course, and if you want to do private one-to-one sessions, then we can also discuss that on Discord. But nevertheless, hope you guys do like my analysis. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on to the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.